Trinity Leeds opened on the 21st of March 2013 to much fanfare, and there were over 130,000 recorded visitors on the opening day. Trinity Leeds is now a big part of the Leeds shopping experience, located in Leeds city centre, between Albion Street and Briggate, and Commercial Street and Ball Lane. But what was here before? In this video we will take a look back. The area takes its name from the Holy Trinity Church, a Grade 1 listed Georgian building on Ball Lane in the centre of the city. It has long been recognised as a building of fine architectural quality, described as early as the 19th century as a correct and beautiful edifice. It was in danger of demolition in the 1950s, but reprieved in 1958, when church commissioners declared it to be a building of the greatest architectural distinction and historical interest. The church was consecrated on August 27, 1727. Lady Betty Hastings of Ledston Hall, together with local merchants, joined together to fund the church. The building was designed by William Etty, who put a wooden spire on the original design. A storm on January 7, 1839 damaged the spire, which was later demolished. A new spire was designed by Robert Chantrell, who rebuilt the 3 upper stages. Something to note in the foreground of this photo from 1867 is the land is being cleared on the south side of Ball Lane for road widening. First established on ground said to have been the venue for travelling theatres and circuses, Holy Trinity was also an important venue for the musical and artistic life of 18th century Leeds. It was originally a chapel of ease to Leeds Parish Church, but became a parish in its own right in 1885. With responsibility for an area enclosed by Park Row and Neville Street on the west, Hedgerow on the north, Briggate on the east, and the river to the south. Holy Trinity is one of the few Georgian buildings surviving in Leeds. It was the 3rd major Anglican church to be built in what was a rapidly growing town, the first being the medieval church of St. Peter, Leeds Parish Church, which was rebuilt in the 19th century, and the 17th century St. John's on New Briggate. Today, although the pews have been removed from the interior, regular services still take place, and from time to time, this beautiful building is once again used as an art space. When the church was constructed, it was surrounded by a good deal of open land, but within a few years, Commercial Street, Trinity Street and Bank Street were laid out, and the area surrounding it became a hive of commerce and industry. Trinity Street ran north from the church and was quickly lined with buildings. The narrow passageways in the infilled Briggate burgage plots now emerged on its eastern side. This is a view of Trinity Street taken on the 9th of May 1930. Commercial Street is behind the camera and we are looking down Trinity Street towards Ball Lane. On the left is the Ostler's Arms. At number 23 were George Rushton's dining rooms. Number 24 had various businesses operating from it, including Marshall Brothers Carriers and P. Thompson's shipping agent. Number 25 also had multi-occupancy, with James H. Thompson Engraver, Arthur Myers Printers, and the Atlas Express Company. Number 26 to 27 was Ross & Company, an oil, paint and colour merchants. Move the position of the camera slightly and we see the entrance to the Whitelocks on the left. Whitelock's Ale House first opened in 1715 as the Turk's Head. The clock and sign for Yorkshire Evening News newspaper and publishing company can be seen. This business occupied numbers 13 to 17. There is an industrial feel to the street, but this is beginning to change. It is evident in this photo from 1956. The street is crowded with shoppers. On the left is N.G. Bailey & Co., electrical engineers, occupying 29 to 30 with a full and interesting shop window display. At numbers 26 to 27 is Blakey's Wallpapers. Number 34 is J. Graham Limited, Home Furnishers, and at numbers 35 to 36, Baker's Household Stores. It's a Saturday on the 7th of July, and the people look well dressed for a day out in town. By the 1960s, further change was happening. The narrow street was proving to be difficult for large vehicles to access at the same time as shoppers. Pedestrianisation of the area was being planned. Not only that, within a year of this photograph, many of the buildings to the right would be demolished, leaving space at first for a temporary car park before a new development was introduced. The Trinity Street Arcade opened in 1973, taking over Trinity Street and Bank Street in one large new precinct. Shoppers were now encouraged to pass through shops and arcades unhindered by motor traffic. Trinity Street Arcade connected larger stores such as Marks & Spencer, C&A and a large Leeds co-op. If you recall this entrance to M&S, you might remember Danny Freeman, the Leeds busker who spent 20 years mainly standing here raising money for charity before his death in 2004. The precinct operated mainly on one level. Many of the exposed buildings were finished off with white tiling. It acted as a hub for shoppers, with connections to Ball Lane, Albion Street and Commercial Street. Later, there would be additional connections with the Bond Street Centre. The majority of the precinct was covered, but there were large sections that were open to the elements. Connection to Briggate was via the Burton Arcade, an arcade which was wider at one end and narrowed to an odd passageway as it reached Briggate. Whilst there were attempts to improve it, it was always quite gloomy and cold, constrained by the buildings around it. As the Trinity Street Arcade entered the 21st century, it was outdated and run down. Attractive new developments such as the Victoria Quarter drew shoppers away, and it was clearly time for a change. In 2008 the bulldozers moved in, and the site was completely cleared by 2010. Within another 3 years, Trinity Leeds opened to the delight of shoppers. Burton Arcade was opened out into a wider thoroughfare, losing its name along the way. There is now a larger and more inviting entrance to the Mall on Briggate. The entrance at the northern end of Trinity Street became a straight and covered approach. Part of it was renamed Marcelo Bielsa Way on July 22, 2020, after Leeds United secured promotion back to the Premier League. But the sign at the junction with Commercial Street remains. The Ostler's Arms, which once stood on Trinity Street here, has gone, along with the newer building that was home to HMV. But the entrance to Whitelocks remains, as does an entrance to Marks & Spencer. Trinity Leeds is covered by a large atrium dome. At the time of filming, football manager Daniel Farker was being recognised for his achievement of taking Leeds United to the Championship playoff final. The entrance at the southern end of Trinity Street remains, and is probably the most significant way into the centre. but there is no street sign to recognise Trinity Street here anymore. The area has been transformed and has taken many of the clues to the past with it. Although, take a careful look and you might still spot some clues to what was here before. If you have enjoyed this video, check out the Bank Street video on the channel. There are many other Leeds local history videos available. Thank you for watching.